Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a while since I last filmed, obviously, and I have like a decent enough excuse for that. So the first one is I had exams, so I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any filming. And the second one is that I got lazy, which is like a rubbish excuse, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So what is this video going to be about? I thought it might be a good idea to, be a beneficial part of society and make a video that will help somebody. So this video is called How to Become a Doctor, and the reason that it kind of came to my head was I was looking through some of my old journals from like sixth form, and I found this like timeline of how to become a doctor, like the lifespan of a doctor almost. It was a very long process, but some people don't really understand how it breaks down, how it works before going into it. I was privileged enough to go to a school where they had a really strong medical club, so I learned quite a lot of stuff there, but some people don't have that in their school. So I thought, you know what, let's make a video to kind of break down what medicine and being a doctor entails. This is going to be like a two-part series. First video is going to be from the end of GCSE years to the end of sixth form, and the next video is going to be from the start of university to consultancy. This video is going to be like a lot more detail because obviously I've experienced the time period from the end of GCSE to sixth form. I have like lots of advice, lots of tips, lots of things I've learned along the way that I can share with you. Recommend that you make some notes, or I don't know, save this video if you want to, for reference, if you want to look back on it, like remember what I said. A little disclaimer, obviously the journey from becoming a student to a consultant or a doctor, whatever, is not a straight path. This is just a kind of breakdown, the minimum amount of time you can spend to become a consultant, basically. So yeah, let's get into the video. Around GCSE time, everyone obviously has to do the sciences, maths, English. And my first kind of like bit of advice that you need to do well in those subjects, because I know for Nottingham specifically, they do weigh your GCSEs. So if you do well, you may have like more points on your application, so you have like more of a chance of getting an offer. So in terms of GCSE subjects, I would just say just do well in those ones. If you haven't done well, I guess that's fine as well. That means you have to like put in even more work during A-levels. And around this time, you will be choosing your A-level option. There's like the bog standard three: maths, chemistry, and biology. For the vast majority of universities, chemistry is absolutely compulsory. You cannot apply without chemistry, and which I think is a bit strange, because personally I would put biology above chemistry, in the sense that when you go to your first year of university, a lot of the things they teach you, it's based off knowledge they assume you have from A-levels. So, and a lot of the knowledge is biology based. So I think chemistry is compulsory just for application, but biology for knowledge. Universities like Oxford requires you to do maths as well. I know, so I emailed them. I really wanted to do art as my third one, but unfortunately I was applying to one of the Oxford universities and they were like, sorry, no, you have to do maths as your third one. So some universities require you to do chemistry, maths and biology, but some don't really care what your third option is. They don't really care if it's maths. So you can do like geography or drama or English or history, whatever you want, whether you enjoy. And I would emphasize something you enjoy, because obviously if you don't really enjoy chemistry, I hated I didn't hate chemistry, but it didn't come easy to me. Having something else that you enjoy can really help. And also it's really important to consider the fact that even with your third like non-sciencey, non-medical related subject, you can still apply things you learn from those situations to medicine. Stuff like drama, you build your communication skills, you build your teamwork skills. History, your analytical skills. Maybe you want to go into research in the future, you know how to like cite things really well and like reference things. You see what I mean? Don't feel as though you have to do like biology, chemistry and math if you don't want to go to university. Don't require that. So I did chemistry, biology and maths. Maths sucked so bad, and if you do maths and you enjoy it, fantastic. If you don't enjoy it, if I can do it, you can do it. Just get through it. And honestly, good luck, Charlie, because it's not an easy one. I'm going to be honest with you. So around the time between the end of GCSEs and I guess like midway to the end of year 12 is a really important time to consider work experience placements. Now, for some of you that may seem like a really scary thing to think about, because you don't know where to start, you don't know like what to do, but I want to kind of clarify to begin with. You may have heard this a lot before, or you may not have heard it. Work experience in a hospital is important, but not 100% necessary. The reason why I'd say it's important is because for me personally, in terms of work experience, it's really good to just kind of like it says in the name, to experience what it would be like to work in that environment and to know for a fact that's what you want to do. I was kind of juggling between architecture and medicine, and I was lucky enough to get work experience in both of them in like the same time period. So I went to the architecture work experience placement, then I went to the medical one. The medicine one just works so much better for me. Like I feel more comfortable in that environment. Then in terms of non-medical work experience placements, you can volunteer, you can get a job maybe, because even in a job you can learn communication skills, you can learn to do like small talk, you can learn the importance of being on time, organisation. Things like that can be applied to not only yourself as like a person to build your skills, but also to personal statements and interviews. It's really important to get at least some form of experience, whether that be medical or non-medical. For medicine, a big question they ask you is why medicine? Medicine is not an easy career to go into, so you need to kind of go in there for the right reasons. And if you don't really know why you want to do medicine, they'll be like, why are you applying for medicine then? If you don't want to do it, don't apply for it. But if you have that experience, you can back up why you want to do medicine. It helps you decide if you want to even do medicine yourself, so that's really important. When you're applying for any volunteering work or any work experience, you will get rejected a lot. If you don't have a family member or friend who is already in that field, and even if you do have family members in that field, if you ask, sometimes you'll get rejected, and that's okay. Rejection is honestly a part of life, and instead of it weighing you down and feeling as though you're never going to get work experience placement, you should just persevere. There's no harm in asking, even if you get rejected. Like I went to my GP for like a blood test or something, and I went to reception. I was like, oh, do you offer work experience placement? They were like, oh, sorry, our like manager isn't here today, leave your number and we'll get back to you. So I left the number. A week later, 2 weeks later, nothing. Yeah, I got rejected and that was fine, but I went online to my local hospital. I saw they had like a volunteer role open. I applied to that, went through like a 3-month application process, finally got the volunteer work, and it was great. I learned a lot. It was a really good experience. I made some good memories, which is good. So yeah, like I can do another video on like the whole like work experience thing. I've kind of more or less summarized everything, but I can do like a more in-depth video on like how to get work experience. As well as that, it's important to do things like research what even is medicine, what is a GMC, like things like that. You have to do your research. So again, when you're applying for medicine, it kind of shows you're so passionate that you want to find out more about it yourself outside of school time. Go to talks. If your school has a medical club, go to medical club. If there's any course you find online, I did a online course which is free about like the emergency department, about sepsis and things like that, and that was quite interesting as well. I didn't really understand a lot of it, but starting that process gives you more of an insight. Maybe you can consider that part of medicine in the future and things like that. During the process of going to talks or doing research or going to work experience placements, make notes, journal. After every experience you have, write down what you learned, write down what you were feeling, write down something you noticed that you may not have noticed if you hadn't been there. I have a bit of an obsession for journaling. These are all the journals I use for the whole of A-levels. If I went on like a one-day work experience placement, I would write down how I felt, what I learned, and things like that. It's good for me now to just appreciate the experiences I managed to have. I find that when I don't think I need information, it evaporates, it leaves my head. So writing it down was really useful for me because I can look back on it and I can refer to it when I'm writing my personal statement and in interviews. I think the biggest thing you should take from this video, the biggest thing, is make notes and record everything. Yeah, make notes. Moving on to the summer between year 12 and year 13. This is the summer where the whole application process just kind of starts slowly chugging along. So to kind of just start off this whole like uni discussion, I guess. One thing I say for medicine, if you don't know this already, is that you can only apply to 4 universities and you can apply to a 5th one, but it has to be maybe a sciencey degree or just a complete different degree kind of medicine. With it, the 4 universities apply to. For Oxbridge, you can't apply to both Oxford and Cambridge. It's Oxford or Cambridge, which we didn't actually know beforehand. I was like, oh, this is new information. But with the 5th option, that is in medicine, you can apply to the same university as one of the other 4 for like biomedical sciences or chemistry or biology, blah blah blah. I think you could apply for a whole complete different course, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. So in terms of universities, I think they're a good place to start if you're a bit overwhelmed with everything. List all the possible universities you're considering, research on all the universities, the course structure, the course length, the type of course. Maybe it's PBL, which is called peer-based learning, traditional course, or an integrated course. To see if they do something called an intercalated year, you would maybe visit them and go on open days and things. Obviously now in this period we can't do open days, but I'm sure a lot of universities are doing virtual online open days, which I'd recommend you go to anyway, even though what I'm going to say after this can't really apply to online open days, but it's still important to go to. I would say that going to open days physically was the only way I could decide that yes, this place is for me. I can see myself going to this university. When you go to that open day, the vibe you get from the location, the vibe you get from the people giving you tours, from the people who are doing talks and stuff, can help you visualize whether you can see yourself going there. And medicine is a long course. You need to be in a place that you enjoy and a place you feel happy in, because if you don't feel happy in that location, you'll find it very difficult to get through your degree. You kind of like get a general consensus of which open days you want to go to, and you've done your research with those universities. You need to decide whether you want to do BMAT, UKCAT, or UCAT, I think it's called now. They're both tests that universities for medicine require you to do when applying to them. These universities require you UKCAT and these ones require you to do BMAT. You can either apply to purely UKCAT universities or purely BMAT universities. We can do a mixture of both and do both exams. Obviously, doing both is more work, but if you want more options, you can do both. I did both personally. It was tough, it was hard, but I got through it. It was fine in the end anyway. That's another reason why knowing which university you want to go to is really important quite early on, because in the summer between year 12 and year 13 is when you start revising for those tests. Another side note, unfortunately, most things in life aren't free, so you have to actually pay for the UKCAT and BMAT. I think you can get bursaries if you are financially unable to do that. So I guess just another thing, just to look around and research about that as well. Nearing the start of year 13, you also have to consider your personal statement. I started writing my personal statement around the end of like the year 12 summer holidays and the start of year 13, and this is when my journals came in handy. So I was able to kind of look back on the experiences that I've gone through and like the talks and things I've done, and pick and choose little examples of moments that kind of made me know that I want to do medicine. Personal statements, including the name, are very personal, so it's about your experience and what you learn from those experiences, what you've seen or read or watched or researched that's made you want to do medicine more. So an example is that I went to a thing called an MDT meeting, which is a multiple disciplinary team meeting. It was very interesting to see how in those meetings they draw on the importance of teamwork to treat a specific diagnosis basically, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's something that I've learned, the importance of teamwork. Being a doctor is not an individual career. You have to be able to work in a team to treat the patient as well as you can and to give them the best medical help basically. So I was like, this is crazy, this is so interesting. Like obviously I understood the importance of teamwork, but seeing it in real life made me realize how important teamwork is. But I saw it on multiple occasions. So yeah, and I was like, that's really interesting. That's one point I picked out. I put it in my personal statement. I was able to do that, so I wrote it all down in my journals because I was able to just scan through and pick and choose which experiences I think shape my idea of medicine, and also will, I guess, show whoever reads it how passionate I am about studying medicine. Even if you want to have a laptop or something, just type it up every now and again. Have like a nice folder of your like a medical experience or any work experience placements you do, and just write out whatever you're feeling, whatever you've noticed, things like that. So personally, it was done. You've done your aptitude tests, you've sent off your applications, and now you're starting to receive interviews, which, by the way, you don't get responses as fast as your other friends who haven't applied for medicine. I applied in like mid-October. I didn't get my first response till like end of November-ish. And again, Your journals come in handy with your interviews. There are different types of interviews for medicine. Some universities do panel-based ones, so they have like 3 or 4 people basically just talking to you or asking you questions, you talk back to them. Or you have something called MMI, so they have multiple minute interviews. So you have like 10 stations, or they're like 3 to 5 minutes long, and you kind of rotate around different stations. For the panel-based interviews, your notes come in a bit more handy because you need to be able to communicate your experiences, why you want to do medicine, blah, blah, blah. For the multi-minute interviews, you can still use your like past knowledge and your past experiences in your notebook to help you with some questions, but some stations a bit more practical. We're nearing the end. I told you it was going to be long. So you've got an interviews, you have an offer, fantastic. Once you get offers back, you can either get 1 offer, 2 offer, 3 offer, 4 offer, or no offer, for medicine at least. But if you get like 3 offers, you have to pick your top 2. So you have your firm university choice, which is the uni you're aiming to go to, and you have your insurance choice just in case you don't meet the grades to your first university. So yeah, and now you have to get the grades, you have to meet the offer. So do your A-levels, and then come results day. If you get your offer, fantastic. If you don't get your offer, luckily for me, I did get my grades, so I didn't really experience what clearing was like, but I know some friends in my year or in the year above who had to go through clearing, and from what I understand, some universities do a thing where you can apply for a degree that isn't medical, that isn't medicine, like biochem or chemistry or whatever, and if you do well in first year, you can then transfer to medicine for second year. Or some people do a thing where the university give you a different course, like again, biomed or like a sciencey degree, and you can get your first degree and do postgrad medicine. Medicine is not straightforward. There are different curveballs that come your way that maybe make you take a different route. But that's okay. It's okay to not have this straight and narrow path. I don't think anybody who does medicine's ever had like an A to B type journey. It's more like A to 8.5 to C to, yeah, it's just showing you it's not straightforward. So that's the end of this first part of this 2-part mini series type thing. Like I said, it's a lot more detailed because I've obviously experienced it. I've learned some things along the way that I feel is really important to share to anyone who cares to listen. Hopefully I'm more consistent now because I have nothing else to do. I struggle to think of ideas of videos. You know that feeling where you're too scared to start something because you don't know if it's going to be good? That's kind of how I feel with this channel sometimes. I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to look, how it's going to work out. So it's partly laziness and partly just fear of like failing, but that's a whole different topic altogether. So yeah, if you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. You don't have to, no one's forcing you to. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. Hope you stay safe and everything, and you're looking after yourself. I will see you next time. Peace out.
Pooja, what is this behavior? I'm sorry I kicked it by mistake. You can't kick it by mistake, then pick it up if it bothers you. No, you pick it up. You can't tell me what to do. I can tell you what to do. You can't tell me what to do. Dustbin, you can't tell me what to do. Or what? Are you going to hit me? Do you want it? I don't, but you're asking for it. You're dying for it. Get off my back. Got it?